Hello and welcome to the next episode in this disaster series, which is all about this Lego room and, of course, my life. Now, what we're going to be doing today is sorting out, hopefully, some of this mess. Now, we made good progress in the last upload, even though there was a nightmare with the live. That has now been placed, so I'm looking forward, actually, to displaying that a little bit better. So I want to get the ghosts and everything out on the side, and we have got ideas of moving these bits and pieces and putting them on the Ghostbuster Firehouse roof and making a full-blown sort of mixed display of the Ghostbusters and the Marvel display. Coming around the corner with this just needed a little bit of a tidy, and I want to leave this either completely spacious with nothing on top, or just leave that there for now so it's not going to get broken, because that will be coming over to this side. But what I want to achieve today is all of the theme park based stuff. I want to find all of the other minifigures and I want to put them by this roller coaster. Now, long story short, it was sorted. It was becoming a nice theme park display. Floor fell through, and now we're at where we're at. So we've had to start all over again. So we're multiple uploads in, and I end up just smashing absolutely everything as we go. Now, to everybody that has subscribed to the channel and that is new to the channel, welcome. Thank you very much indeed. We have lots to go through today, and I guarantee something will get broken. So one of the other things that I need to approach today is what we're going to do with these three newer sets. Now, I have just done a unboxing video on these, and the minifigures look fantastic. So in the live later on this afternoon, we're going to figure out what we're going to do with regards to placement of this, what we are going to do with that. Now, there is a fantastic idea from Jay's Toy Collection UK, which you might either attempt on the live or do this here. I will update any progress after the live so we know exactly where we're at, because there is talks of if we can get this inside this. So that'll either be done with us, or you'll see it on the live and then it will still be shown in this video anyway, so that's absolutely fine. And there's other little bits and pieces that we need to figure out what we're going to do with that, what we're going to do with that, what we're going to do with that, and also what we're going to do with this big orange thing just down here. And am I ever going to rebuild the big Quinjet, which is currently, well, it fell off the Daily Bugle and smashed all over the floor, so I picked it up and just threw it in a bag. So that's basically the story of that at the moment. I've got the video in the background, so if you're wondering what that is actually the upload for later on. So that is this video. So as I'm keeping my close eye on that, I can get this filmed. So as we go through, we are going to be doing multiple things in this, and hopefully, like I said, we will be making a lot of progress. Now, this is all done and new in the last two uploads. So Avengers Tower's gone in, Daily Bugle's gone in. I think that does look very, very nice. Now, we have got options now with this. We do like an option. So we have options to either add a road in, or we add another building in, which is much smaller, to give us that sort of height. Now, if we had a road in, or just some sort of basic base plates like this, we can just make up another diorama, and then this car can just be parked just to the side. Now, we did try spinning it the other way, and it didn't work. I think that looks the best. And then when you come down from here, and if I put you on the actual track, so you are completely hands-free, that is the view you get. And the nice thing of this is that you do get all of that roof space. So we do need to make some space on the roof for the live later on as well. And we need to go through some of the minifigures on the Avengers Tower. And we also, like I said, we are going to be approaching and figuring out the layout of this. And this is where we are going to start. We're going to start on this side, work our way down, hopefully to like this table, just keep throwing all the Star Wars stuff on top of each other. And then it will be shown some love in a separate upload. That is why I'm keeping that massive UCS set out the way, because that is all going to be DC. I think that's going to be a DC land. I think what we're going to do, we're going to have all the different sort of New York Marvel-esque stuff. All those minifigures will sort of mix and match, and we're going to have all the different battles going on here. So obviously when that's taken out, we've got three big base plates that we're going to split into either 4 lots of 16 by 16. This one is 2 lots of 16 by 16, and then we did have a larger display there that has disappeared. Now again, what we need to think of is what we're going to do with these bits in the box. That's why I think I'm going to do the Marvel stuff on the live, and then we'll catch up with that later on in the video, and then progress on at the very end with the Marvel stuff if the live stream fails like it did last week. Try and make some space over here so there's nothing here whatsoever. Get all the Batmobile cars back over in that corner. Put the bigger Star Wars ships just safe and sound out the way so they don't get smashed. And then that'll start to free up some table space, because the plan is that this is going to get moved, either this is going to get moved over to, say, this table just here. The loop roller coaster will then carry on. and then that carousel gets tucked behind it. Now there was ideas again from Jay's Toy Collection UK. He's got some knowledge of this being put at the angle and the big yellow set going behind. Now I could do that first to see how much space it takes up, because the potential of doing that, if there's quite a lot of space behind it, is that if we utilise the space by putting, for example, this funfair set behind it as well, so you can, because you'll be able to see that through the tracks, that could work potentially. And then maybe we'll get a better view of this on the corner, and then we'll have that in the middle. But the only thing of doing that is then we won't have a wall of coasters. But what I need to do is I need to move these lights out of the way. I was going to get these broken, because I need these in here for later on. So I'm going to make some space, and then we can actually crack on. Right, I can reach. So the plan of attack is literally to get to this corner. Now, it's not going to be too bad. All I need to do is just pull this one out of the way, drag the other two down, and then I'm just going to start making a Marvel pile for the live later on, so I can mess around with that later. All loose minifigures. I've got a base plate to my right-hand side, so as we go through, I can carry on tidying up that. Like I said, this is a proper mess, but we are getting through it piece by piece by piece. And then we've got to figure out what we're going to do with this thing just here. This, I'm not 100% sure where to put it. It is absolutely beautiful. If anybody can think of anything that was used for sort of, we can either use it as a disused bait shop. I can kind of see it being used like a Punisher-esque type thing, because I'm sure in one of those episodes around that way there was sort of dodgy dealings going on in one of the fish factories or the warehouse type thing, but this just looks a little bit too nice for that. So we just need to get some 32 by 32 base plate space. This thing really is very pretty. So that can just go behind the camera for now, and then we will try and get that placed. Well, it's going to have to be placed in this upload, isn't it? So we have options with regards to this. So this obviously all moves. If you didn't realise, it works absolutely fine. I've just purposely not put the seats on it, but I might actually now finish it if we are going to hide it behind, because I did want an under construction thing going on. Now, obviously, having it like that, you can get some nice photos. You can see the bits and pieces, and I think it looks very smart. But do we have the coaster angled? Now, I can angle the coaster, that's easy enough. I can just pull this one forward and the other one forward. It's just how much we actually angle it and how much it kicks back. And I just need to repair the tree that I broke last time. So that is when we moved the Ghostbuster Firehouse. So that is there, so the tree is back on. Now we've got the little monkey swing, so that will need to be placed somewhere. All these little bits and pieces will be placed somewhere. Now, the other thing that leads me on to are these Lego Ideas sets. Now I have got the Flintstones Lego Ideas set. I do want to backtrack the Sesame Street one, I do believe it is. I want to try and backtrack that one. And then there's potential for some other little bits and pieces coming at a later date, so I can create a nice little zigzag through. And we've also got 2 rides on trucks. So we have got the gaming truck, which is a nice thing that can be opened up, have a nice path to it. And we've got the space ride over there, literally says space ride. That's a purple back with the roller coaster track. And we've also got the space roller coaster 3-in-1. Now the space roller coaster 3-in-1 won't work as a roller coaster over here, but I did see it in the shop with a little bit of a roller coaster track, the drop tower and something else. And I don't know if you can make 2 of the 3 up without doing the big track. But the problem is I don't have the instruction booklets anymore because they leaked. I had a big leak in a roof. Everything, load of stuff got flooded, and that was one of them. Now I know you can download the instructions online, but that is something that I'd need to look into. Because if I can just get the drop tower that roller coaster 3-in-1 came in with the space stuff, that would work perfectly in this section. Because we want to create, obviously, a nice theme park area, but more of a ride area. Now, like I said, we'll just keep throwing the Star Wars stuff to the one side, Marvel goes to the left, and then this stuff comes over to here, and then we'll kind of meet in the middle. Now, this one that's the easy one. The carousel is the difficult one. Now, don't forget, they do a huge Ferris wheel as well. Now, if I can angle it enough, that Ferris wheel could go behind the roller coaster. But I really do think we're going to lose too much space, because this is going to have to be angled from here to the corner there. So you're going to have, what, quarter of a table? We'll look at it and see what it looks like, and then I will probably just have to put it back. But without actually seeing it, I don't know, because like I said, to move, this one isn't rocket science. He says. So as I fall forwards and spin this round, he says it's not rocket science, but it is actually pinned against the wall. And it is very tight to the back. Now I know it's going to look nice angled, but what angle do we do it to? Because that is probably the least angle that we can do. So we lose. That's the angle. Now I don't think we've got enough space to get that behind in that corner. So that is just an awkward corner, really, which is a bit of a shame, because that obviously does look nice at the angle. Now if that came forwards, that would then fit behind it, and then from here you would still see the big carousels. It is an awkward shape at the bottom, and then you could just create the queue line through, because if you didn't realise, you've got the ticket office from this, and then there is the path that goes all the way through, and you can then obviously zigzag around this, and it carries on going over to the other side, and then you can come out the back end of it if required. But I just don't know if that works. Just had a quick pull back of the coaster, and that is the angle that it would need to be at. So it comes really far forward, and we're just losing too much space either side. And for us to fill the gap in, it just doesn't really make any sense, because ideally you don't want to see the white. If the white's not on show, then you know that the studdage is being used up, obviously, by Lego sets. It's just where you've got massive gaps, like that triangle cheese there and all that kind of thing. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work, which is a shame, but we will do what we can do to make it work. So I think the best thing to do is I spin that back round and have it flush, then figure out where this is going to go, because we could always go coaster, that thing in the middle, loop coaster, and then have the smaller bits and pieces in front of it with the trucks to create different pathways. And we've got all the different shops, because we've got the ice cream, we've got the slushy, there's a pizza one, there's obviously the new burger set that I need to pick up, and just have the vehicles dotted around in that bit. And then that will lead us into what is the cantina area. Now the cantina area, you can have it shut, so it just takes up that amount of space, so you can't see too much, but I think it does look more impressive open, to be honest. I think we'll have that as our sort of Tatooine area. So we'll get this back straight. To be honest, I think it looks better on the corner. I think visually it looks nicer on the corner, but I just don't think, with regards to the amount of space that it takes up for that, I think it just needs to be on a flat area, because at least this way we can get it straight in. Now I did hear something ping, as it always does, and I've got a very bad feeling it might have either been the chain, and there's a minifigure falling off right at the back, just down there. Can I reach it? Of course I can. Right, don't ask, but I have managed to do it, but I couldn't film it at the same time. But I'm definitely going to have a stretch after this, because I nearly ripped my spine in about 4 different places. Now, as this spins round, how much length do we actually have? So if we actually tuck this all the way back in properly for the first time, that is as far back as it will go. So we do have a good amount of space. Yes, okay, we lose a little bit of table space just there, but it does step out again. Now, this is where this gets a little bit interesting, because I think maybe this could just sit here. Obviously, I just closed the gap up on that table, because that's just been moved over. That gap was actually together before I just did what I needed to do. On the table, yeah, it wasn't a pretty sight. I'm not going to lie, it was not a pretty sight at all. Now, with regards to the funfair bits and pieces, which I do need to grab now, I think maybe they need to go in next, and then I just work under the anticipation that this is actually going to go there. Or, like I said, it gets used as the divide, because that is the one of two things. It's such a pretty looking set, and it is obviously massive. If we do put the bigger thing to the back and have that overhanging, and we leave that straight, we've already created a path, because what is white will be tiled. So obviously, apart from where it's falling apart. So that is the other option. It goes just like that, and we have the Ferris wheel quite close to coaster, which again, actually, I do like that, and you can create that path. So maybe we just do that, because it's as far back as it will go. It actually overhangs the back ever so slightly. It's probably the biggest set that we can get underneath the roof space, because it's almost touching that roof space. So maybe that is the best place for it, and we can fit a few minifigures in that gap. And then that allows us to do, things like this, doesn't it? So if I just start now to do stuff like that, so we have that bit angled. So again, you've got a path around the one side, path around the other, so that works perfectly. The candy floss is with that. That dunk rink is complete, and that's really annoying, because I've knocked that myself doing that, because we had the rings around that. So that we need to find a clown for this. Dunk ring there. Then what we need to do to carry on sort of creating this path, this really does need a very, very good clean, is something like this. Now, this is where we can start to create. Can you hear that? I just knocked the table and something has fallen over. All I did was tap it with my elbow, and that was something over there. So no idea. So this thing's really cool, because it's got the nice curtains up on the side, and this does open up. There is actual review unboxing video available for this set if you want to see this in much greater detail. As I am so violent with these sets at the moment, I'm just ripping everything apart. Now, it is missing all the bits and pieces of the tree, so all of that needs to be sorted out, because that should all be green at the top. They should have all the clips on. The chimney's fully there, but we are missing the shrubbery of the tree. Now, like I said, we've got options with regards to what we do with this. We either have that in front and it's staggered, and then we can try and create different walkways for the next thing, because I can potentially get 3 more sets that size, and they just run in a row, probably to the end of the table. Now, the other thing that we can do is we just put this thing straight by this loop coaster, and it just tucks in. So we just basically start to fill all the spaces. So that could go there, that comes out the way, that then goes like that. So that's how quickly we can start to fill this space up. I don't know, that just looks a little bit too cluttered like that. I just don't think that will work as well. Now, there is the massive Ferris wheel, which I don't own, which pains me that I don't own it, to be honest, because the amount of times I talk about theme park bits and pieces and I don't have one of the key theme park sets. But this thing here, so I have actually put the I've actually got custom construction figures, look. So I've got high vis on that one, and then you've got a custom high vis print on that one. So these two guys are there, and then you've got the minifigure with the popcorn, who's about to, I think he chunders as well, yes. So you have got the I'm going to be sick face, and then you've got the happy face, so we can keep the happy face on that one. Put the popcorn back, and we can keep him on the stairs. So at least I know where a minifigure is, at least I know where one of them are. I will forget. So this obviously can go flush to the back, and the nice thing is it doesn't touch. Now, I don't know if it will touch when the chairs are on, because I think the chairs actually go on the inside. I don't think they overhang, he says, but I think they go between the green dots, so that should be okay. And if I pull that out a smidge like that, there is a bit of air there, so that works. See, there is a set in here that, if I get it at the angle, does that fully rotates. It rotates at that angle. There you go. That fully rotates around. I'm trying to think, why isn't that spinning? So I've got a minifigure there getting hit. So there is a chef just randomly on there. The games that I play on these YouTube shorts, and that's what that is there for. So that could go just like that. Or did it look lost there? Does it look silly? This is where it starts to get really, really difficult with regards to that kind of thing. Now, this is where I'm either going to commit with you now to put this head in that display, because I need this table. I need to climb on the table. That is the problem. So I basically need to find a home for these sets and then start to put them in, to pull them back out again, to pull them back in. Now, like I said, we've got the 3-in-1 space coaster, and then over here we have got all of this nonsense as well. Now, there was a plan for me to make a dodgems up with all of these. I've got a handful of these that I have got ideas for. We've got the fresh unit, we've got some 16x16s just there. There is an eyeball that's just fallen off that space wagon. So that is the track that goes around it. So it is a big thing, but this, obviously I will have the juggernaut back. There's the other eyeball. So easy to get all this stuff damaged. So easy. You just can't pile it on top of each other. That then can come round and it can come into this area. Obviously get the other 2 bits of track, put the eyeballs in. That is then twice as wide as that, because that actually just sits basically there and there, and it stands up. So imagine that double the size of that, and that starts to eat into space very quickly. Or we mix and match that kind of thing up. Right, so let's just get this in. Let's see what we can do with that, and then everything else around it can either fall into place or this is just going to fall. Now, this is both of the sets put together, so if you've not been keeping up with all the bits and pieces, don't worry, it's not really worth it. But this set is very special because we have got the 2023 hybrid with the 2024. So we have added in some little bits and pieces on this. Not all the minifigures are attached currently. I've just taken some off to do some bits and pieces with. And what I'll do is on the live, I'll put them all back on. So I've got to do something on the live. I can't do it all on here. Now, can I get that size base plate into the track? If it goes between the track, we're laughing. If it goes between that bit at the back, we're okay. Worst case, we customize the front. We take that flag off and we build up from there. And it's just higher. But then if it's higher, I don't know if it'll just eat into the Ghostbuster bit or not. So, never tried it. It was just an idea from Jay's Toy Collection UK to actually incorporate some of the coasters at the front, because obviously it's all a theme park mixed in within it. And obviously as I'm crouching down now, it really is starting to take shape. I know it's very messy still, but it is. That's the thing when you move these kind of things. So, obviously I don't mind moving bits and pieces at all, but I do not want to drop this, and I do not want to break the red coaster. Now I know what is going to happen. The next set that I'm going to buy when this gets sorted, it's going to have to be the loop coaster. I'm going to make space for all the bits and pieces behind. Obviously that's going to happen. Or the, like I keep saying, all the loop coaster is just last. So I need the space for this table. Right, I'm trying to do delay tactics. I really don't want to drop this. So we'll get you back into prime location. I just don't know if the base is too big. Can I use, have I got the... I've got a secondary base. Just wonder if I could have used that instead, which is the slightly smaller base that the thing came on. I've got it, but I'm looking at it going, there's no way that would fit on. So this is it, we're up. We are up and we are away. What can you see? You can see, I think you can see everything. Now, how wide is it? It's going to sit, I think, right on the track. There. Now, do we raise it up? Do I build underneath the base and put a base plate down on the bottom and do a custom job on that so it's in the middle? Second place it can go, like I said, is this flag just comes out. And what I will do is, to keep that flag safe, is we just put this flag at the bottom. We can just spin that round ever so slightly, like that, and then I can just push that on there, and it's not going to go anywhere. Now what that leaves us, it leaves us with 4 studs, which we could build up and off on, and then we can go up. I just think, I might be wrong, I'm hoping I'm wrong, but it might just be in the wrong place. So this would be the easiest. It goes here. And it sits on that pillar on the corner. Now there's a lot of structural support in that corner, as you can see. Don't forget, this isn't the lightest of things. Adds a bit of height. Doesn't really affect the Ghostbuster Firehouse too much. You can see all the display and what we're going to be doing down on there. It's just that. Whew. And the other thing is that we do this. Now, as long as I'm prepared for it for the live, we could fine tune it. It's just, I don't know how I can build this up safely. You've not missed out on anything. I've just put in 6 bricks, and I'm just going to spin this round the back because this coaster is gravity fed. So I'm looking at that, and that now, that's the little thing that I'm building like a shaft. Now they're going to get decapitated at that height, so I think I need to add a few more in. But before I go wild, I'll just push this one. Oh, they definitely went in. That's a disaster in its own. The minifigures have gone absolutely flying. Is there anything on the base where this will sit? That's the next question, because can I actually... Oh, there might be. There's one yellow square, which is that bit just... Oh, please don't break. Please don't break. I might have to do it a different way. Hang on. I am terrified that I'm going to smash this apart. You can tell when I care, because I slow down. So that, he says, he says, in theory, I know you can't see it. Oh no, that was a bird's eye view of Doc Ock going flying. That is not what we want. And his minifigure had something on it, I think. But let's see. That yellow thing underneath, right in the middle. I can't clip it in. I don't know why I can't clip it in. I'm looking for some more. I've got loads of them. I've put them down somewhere. Can I find them? Of course I can't. Here we go. There's some more of them just here. No, I can't get that in. Hang on. I've just built it up the wrong way ever so slightly. That was nothing entertaining whatsoever, hence why you don't need to see it. But the interesting bit now is, will that fit up on here or not? So, can I don't know, I've got enough. The problem I've got, I don't think I can push it down hard enough to connect the oh, hang on. Oh, I don't want to let go. So that is what that will look like. That is so dangerous. That it can't stay like that because it's going to fall off. But I might be able to support it elsewhere because you've got more yellow bits on. Now, Gamora's can't fit a minifigure underneath it, but that's the idea of that. What do we think? I'm going to take a photo because now I can share that on the live later on, because that really can't sit there. Now with a little bit of TLC, I think he says that could go higher if it wanted to. The issue you've got with this is obviously you've got these pieces. Now these pieces, you can see that wobbling already. They are directly underneath that, but you need to be able to get around the track. So I would have to come up with a way of changing the tile length and getting some more bricks underneath it and building it another 3 ways. We can have one there, one there, one there, and then just support it so it would take the tip out of it completely. And the head could be right on the corner, which, to be fair, I don't think it looks too bad. I don't think it looks too bad on that corner whatsoever. I think it does need to be taller. And don't get me wrong, it is a shame that we can't, because we could do the exact same thing, But instead of it having it above the coaster, we can have it floating inside the coaster. Because the other thing I can do is get a small base plate on the inside of that, build it up like we've done with this, and get it higher than these curved bits, so it actually goes underneath the set twice, because you've got the drop on that side, the drop on that side. The only thing is with that, I don't know if then from here you're going to be able to see the front of the Ghostbuster Firehouse, and if we do a display at the front, whereas at least if it's there, we might be able to do something with it. But I'm not 100% sure. But I want to get that back off before it breaks. Show everybody on the live what they think. You guys and girls have seen it anyway, so you let me know in that comment section what you think. And then between us, we can get it placed. That is fully complete and all back together. All I need to do is move the little shaft that we made up, and I will put that flag back in the correct place. So there's one more, there it is, that bit comes off, because I do not want to start losing any pieces that I need to. And if you are wondering, yes, I have actually dropped this coaster before. It went smash on the floor when I went to pick it up. This is before I started doing YouTube, and I've had to rebuild it, which is an absolute nightmare. Now, a little thing that has started to be created are these. Now, this obviously isn't part of the coaster, but that fits in quite nicely down that run. I've added in the little space rocket ride as well. So again, there is potential with that. And then coming back to this little swing just here, that can just sit like that. So get the popcorn out of the way, the swing, well, I mean, it'll hit, but obviously we can spin it around that way. You can go to the front that way, it won't hit anything, and then you could be away that way if you wanted to be. And that's what it looks like from the side. So we have got options with regards to wrapping the smaller stuff around this coaster, having a path into a bigger coaster. The good thing doing this bit by bit is that we are actually clearing space out. So there is method to the madness. So this table is becoming more and more visible, and like I was saying, we've got all these little bits and pieces down at the bottom. Now it does look quite nice, sort of as a set itself, but I think it does need some height. So it either comes around here, or potentially there's something that we could do with the loop coaster. So it could be used around this area. So if that was not there, so we just take this out of the equation as it stands right now, that is the space that we have got. Now we've got plenty of space to play with, but what we are starting to create is almost two L shapes. Now what I can do is, say for example, we use that table line, and then we can come around and create its own smaller street. So we can have lots of shops and lots of different bits and pieces like that. So we could have that. What else is there? So we've got the Sesame Street, we've got the Simpsons houses. There's all that kind of size stuff. Now we do have the Winnie the Pooh. So potentially the Winnie the Pooh set could go on the corner, because it's got the tree, and it's obviously at that shape to create that shape as it wraps around. So I think all the other units are straight, and then we can create something in there. But then that gives us the reverse effect of this table that you can't see. There is a full table here, and the back piece. So that back piece, it could be a reverse L shape. So we've got an L shape coming through into this sort of area, and then from there we go into the Star Wars, or we just have one table for the Star Wars, and it's just a full-blown Clone Wars display, which, to be fair, wouldn't be looking bad at all. Then we can just add in the odd bit and piece like that, for example. That could be the entry in to the actual land. Then we've got the ATT walker, then you've got the cantina, then you've got that, then we've got that monstrosity just there, and then there still potentially is room for the big block of cheese, which would look very, very effective. Again, slightly higher up. But if I take a step back, that is what we are starting to create at the moment. Now, the bits and pieces on this table just need to be sort of fed in onto the display, apart from that one. Now, this is the odd one. The only other thing I'm thinking is that goes with the Jurassic Park display, and we just have a load of dinosaurs escaped around by the visitor centre, because it's got a load of water from the waterfall. It's an old bait fishing shop. I know I'm clutching at straws, but the colours would work, and it would blend in with the T-Rex, and obviously we can just add that in on that loop. So I think what I'm going to do is actually going to move that onto this table, so that is where that can go, and then we do have the full bit in. Just got to think of how much space we need for this, because these sets are not the biggest. They are very, very nice size sets, but the nice thing is they pack a punch with regards to detail, but they don't take up much space. So you could, and again, this is just the other thing you could do, just have them in a line behind each other. You don't even need to create a shape. So you go from there all the way back to there. You've got boff, boff, boff. Like, for example, this. That fresh shop, there or thereabouts, exactly the same size. So what we do is come off that table and then you just create paths in between. So it comes out and then there's just a long path in a straight line and then you're into the next area. I don't think that'd look too bad, would it? Just have a row of smaller sets. Again, it's as easy as turning them in on themselves. You come round, so this could come to the edge of the table. Again, it's all ideas. You create the walkway through and then you can have another one or two beside it. So that's the kind of shape that we can create. We just need to figure out exactly the shape that we want with this. Now, there we go, that's one. I'm sure that is one of those. That's supposed to go there. So I need another, oh, that's a roof. There's at least one more of those, if not 3. And they'll be in that pile somewhere. So that is part of this. It's got the coconut underneath it. I'm sure that is the correct colour for that. And then as we go through, like I said, she's part of this set. So she will go here. And I've got the others as well. I've got Fred and Wilma. So there is her. And then we have Fred over there. A little bit of progress has been made. Still not 100% sure what to do with the Winnie the Pooh. I think it looks fine where it is, but then I don't know whether to add it into this new little display that we're creating. I have obviously got this house over here and I've just added that one beside it, and I also do have a haunted cabin somewhere as well, so I need to get that out from underneath one of the tables, and I've just put that behind there. Where this will sit will be in that far corner by the waterfall, I think, because the Jurassic Park sets themselves, they are not exactly massive. Now we are starting to free up some space. I've just been moving bits and pieces around. I've not thrown anything into a bag. That has come out, so that is the tail end of a gaming thing, so we've got to figure out where we're going to do with that. And now you can see what we're starting to do. So with regards to the rest of this white table to this very, very corner here, do we have this for smaller bits and pieces and the theme park, and then it just opens up into the cantina, which means this thing can only really go in one place, which would be the back of that table, because it's so tall it needs to be the biggest thing and it goes at the back, which means this thing here would go just there. Then the bits and pieces that are in the middle, basically like the M1 Starfighter, will just be then dangling off the ceiling, and then that'll give us a better understanding of what is what. So until this pile has been basically sorted out, which I think, to be fair, I should probably do. I don't want to, I really can't be bothered, but I think that's probably the best thing to do, because everything else is getting there or thereabouts. Now I do need to sort some bits and pieces out for the live. We've got about 2 hours before we go live, so what I might do is might have a bit of a play with some bits and pieces now, just get some stuff set up, because like I said, I want to get that clear, ready to add some ghosts, and I've got to try and somehow, because I'm an idiot, reach round and plug those in on the side. I might do that with you rather than the live, because it is thereon impossible. Now this is also supposed to be on here somewhere. I'm not too sure where this one is supposed to go, but it goes at the front on one of those 4, so I've kept that with that. Custom Kingpin up at the top. We've got some of the Guardians of the Galaxy team up there, and then there's some other bits and pieces that I could just need to go through and pull them off. And then we can then start making a Ghostbusters display, because I have got all of the minifigures and I am finding them in this pile, because they were over here at some point. That's how much got moved onto this bit. I've found some bits and pieces in there of some of the Ghostbuster minifigures, and as I'm going through them, I am just putting the loose minifigures in here, so then we can then sort of put them around the park as we go. So I think that's probably the best plan of attack. I will start making space this side for the live, pile up all the bits and pieces for the Marvel stuff, which is another thing that I've been doing. We have actually been quite productive in this one. So we've got to put the taxi in somewhere. I don't think we're going to use these. I think what they're going to do is, more than likely, these vehicles will probably just get used for parts. I know it's harsh, but I think that's the best thing. That thing looks amazing, by the way. So that is a little diorama. Well, that is the diorama, so that's how that's going to work, and that can just be pinned anywhere. That can just go there, so that's okay. And then we've got to re-add all the dock ox, and then you've got another little web here with that one, so that can just go somewhere as well. So they're the ones that we really need to add in. That taxi needs to go somewhere, but this is all the stuff that we will do on the live, because it's just good fun doing it with you live. And then if you can't make the live, type away, let me know, and I can add some bits and pieces in, because that's why we keep going back to the different sections. But you can see we are starting to come around. So when this bit in the middle gets sorted, that bit will be then be nice, tidy and done. Now, because I'm an idiot, I have thought of something. So I'm doing everything I can to think of not tidying that up, because I just can't be bothered. Really can't be bothered. Now, we have height here, right in the middle. Now, don't get me wrong, that Batman thing looks fantastic, and the row looks absolutely fantastic. See this Disney castle? Massive thing. Wide, tall, but not huge depth. I think it might fit on the actual shelf. Now, it could potentially go right in the middle, all the way to the top, and it overlooks everything, which then frees up this table, which means this table is completely free, because this has to go somewhere, because I do actually want to do some bits and pieces on this table, or have it as a free display table, so we can sort of progress onto that bit. And the other thing is, what I would like to do is with this Harry Potter section, probably just bring, I might have to go back into an alleyway, and the alleyway goes into the spinning coaster, because eventually I want the castle. So I don't know whether the castle goes on this side, or we make a really nice custom display here, where we do a bit of an Easter egg to the Viking, the pirates and the castle all on one table. So we dissect the table up into three, because it's all three themes that they have at Legoland, and that's where that goes. It's just 1, 2, 3. We just need 3 sets, which is easy enough. I've got the horrible pirate thing. To be honest, where did I put that? I got annoyed with it. Where's right? Oh, I didn't put it in there, did I? Oh, I did, didn't I? No! I put it in there and threw the boxes on it. There you go. So that is the pirate thing in there. Broke, did it? Oh dear. So yeah, basically that could be split, dissected into 3. We could have the pirate bit, the castle, and whatever else. 1, 2, 3, 3 completely separate displays. Or it extends over to the DC, or the Ninjago comes over, because you were saying about Ninjago and the Monkey Kid, which could be a very, very good option. And then just down in here, we just add in the castle up in that bit, and then that's that done. So we have got plenty of options to do, but like I said, I want it looking basically as neat and tidy as what you can see up at the top, just there for everything else. Now obviously Star Wars, hang it, that's going to be put somewhere. I might try and have that flying, not off the ceiling, but off one of the buildings. I wonder if I can prop that up off the cantina, and then have the M1 doing the same thing. Because we have got all these screw holes, so we can do bits and pieces all these. You see, they go all the way down, and that'll be the perfect gap for the 2. But I guess once I've tidied up that space, I'm going to have to place the UCS set first, and then put everything else around it, which should be quite interesting. Now, I really wish I finished off the ATTE before I did the challenge for the UCS thing, because it's just there and it's not quite built, and I've got like a bag and a half left. And I think what I've done, because I'm a moron, is I was halfway through the bag and left it on that table. Where that bag is now, I don't know. So we will have to hunt it down. And more importantly, where the box is with the rest of the bits and pieces in, I don't know. So I will crack on. I will make some space. I'll catch back up with you just before we go live, so you can see what I've done. Then I'll go live, and then I'll catch back up with you again and see what we've made. And then we might wrap it up, because hopefully I might have dug into this and made a little bit of a dent. So after literally 5 minutes of me picking up empty bags off the top, I thought it was really, really bad. It's just the Star Wars stuff that we need to put in the correct place. So this does now mean, if I was to just pick these couple of sets up and put them into this corner? Do I just get that set back up, over and straight down, and get that in and done? And then I can just roughly place the Star Wars display. And the next thing, and the other thing that I would actually thinking of, is with the castle, if it doesn't fit there, doesn't look right there, it causes too much of an aggro, because the problem is, if that does go up there, it's obviously going to be the width of at least 2 of those modulars, so they have to come down. Could I just put it up to where we're going, over to this side, and it's facing the track? So from here you see the back of the Disney castle, and from here you see the front, and that would actually make it a lot easier for me to repair, because it would be right beside where I need to be, and you'd see it on camera. And then that just frees up that table, which means then I can just put stuff on that table only, not throw it anywhere else. Whereas it could go there right now, and then any of the odd bits and pieces that I need to move, it then frees me up a complete table. But to get that UCS gunship out, the Joker Manor has to move, and then everything else has to move around it. So it's not, even though it's a simple thing over this side, there is quite a few bits and pieces to move. But if I do it with you really, really quickly, I don't think it would take too long to do. So the M1 will be flying off the ceiling. This one we'll have to put over somewhere, because I do like that. I do like the front of that one as well. It does look very, very smart. So we'll dump that over onto there. This one lives with that. See, it's just little bags like that. I know there's a piece in there that can go in my little spare bit. That can go down there. Now that is the bit that I broke. Yeah, that's the other bit I broke. That's, I think, this is the problem now. So I think that attaches to this. This is what I was in the process of building. And then I decided to be stupid, because I like a challenge, and I started to do this. But I'm sure this is just the side flap for that walker. So that walker now can go down on the floor, which means you know it's going to get stood on. That is just a bag of a couple of spares, so that can go in the brick head. Indiana Jones airplane, use this for my reference for sizes for absolutely everything. That could be flying over the cantinas, maybe as a little bit as an Easter egg. And then we have this car needs to go in. I don't even know why that's there. This car is the car that goes over here, so that needs to be placed in the live later. So that's another vehicle saved. This all one piece. This is all together. That is all together. So UCS gunship. Will it go there? Will it go at the back? It is massive, mind. It is absolutely massive. Now the wingspan of it is huge, so it needs to go in as it is. It needs to go side to side, because it was where the roller coaster was last time. And don't get me wrong, it looked beautiful there, but the plaque is the wrong way round. But if I can just get this in rough, it just looks like we're making some progress. It doesn't look like I've just neglected it, because I purposely neglected it, because I thought it was going to take a lot longer to repair than not. So these pieces here, it's just stuff like this. I haven't got a clue. I could have been there months, because I only come up here once a week, because this is the only time I have time for. Twice a week if I'm lucky. I get back from work far too late Monday to Friday, so I never come up here. So I just do stuff at the weekends. This is why it takes so long. That's why it's an absolute nightmare when things smash, because I just don't have time to repair them. Like this has been repaired. I'm just missing the top, which I do believe we found in a box in the unboxing area, because it's yellow, and we have no idea how it got there. So we are 2 for 2. So that does now mean, actually, I can do a comparison video with the new burger truck of those two, because they are the newest two. I've got another one as well. Pizza. I've got two. I've got 2 pizza vans somewhere. That's embarrassing. It'll be somewhere. It's somewhere over there. So at least that's all 3 of them. For some reason I thought the ice cream one was completely smashed. Okay, perfect. Right, so he's getting mentioned a lot in this one. Jay's Toy Collection UK. custom minifigure from Jay's Toy Collection UK. He treated me to this one when he went to a toy convention. Does look very, very good indeed. Now, any idea who this is? Let me know in the comment section below. We will add that to our display later on. How he ended up over there, well, it's nothing to do with over here, is it? So I have no idea at all. I found this as well, a fully sealed Lego Movie 2 thing. So if I have a good feel for that, I'm pretty sure I know what one that will be. But we'll keep it excited now. Which way do I bring you into shot? I think that might be the easiest thing, because if I can just, I've got one thing to move, which I've moved. I'm trying to cheat, so if I can just push the Joker Manor over, which is what I've just done, I think I might be able to get the other one out. Now, it's going to go one of two ways, because it is on the stand. I think the A-frame might be in the way, so this is how big it is, look. Pinned between the box and the A-frame. So I need to get this out from here. And I always say this, I can't really grab it very well. Oh no, what am I doing? I'm stuck now. That's not good. Back down it goes. Ooh. That was possibly one of the most stupidest things I've attempted. Now, I've tucked all this back in after the last disaster upload, just to make some space. And I regret doing it in the order that I've done it in, because I've created myself all this extra work. Now, if I can get these balls facing forwards, yes, that's what I said. That comes up over the A-frame, round the box, through the Joker Manor, and we are away. So now what I've got to do is, I'm holding you like a pizza. I'm going to place you back down in the disaster zone, which is somewhere there. I've still got to hold this like a pizza, because I need to grab the stand that it sits on. So I'm now turning back around to grab the stand, which has literally just broken my hand. Oh, this is not good. Come on. I do some really stupid things, let's be honest. That is the stand. And then, I don't know if this is going to work. I've got one shot. Oh, please. Well, that was tight, but I think with a bit of persuasion it could go there. Now, I already know what everybody's saying. I need to swap the Star Wars and the Jurassic Park table over, because that could be on its own table right at the back where the waterfall is. It would look lovely, and it would overlook the whole area, so I could have it side on like that, or I don't worry about seeing the minifigures, which kind of defeats the object, because that's the whole reason why I moved it all in the first place. And I spin it around like oh, you can make your own jokes with that. And it goes like that, which again is never going to work in front of those gates. At least now, for reference, if you do have the Jurassic Park gates, or you've seen these in person, this is how big this thing is. Because that is so big, the only other way that's going to work is I bring that into the middle of the table. So that comes right into the middle, and then it's its own land, and we walk round it. And we set it up that way. I don't know whether to wait for the live. Because the problem is with it that way, look, I've lost all that table space at the back. So that is the only issue, and I've cracked I've got its thing caught up against the wall, so potentially it goes side on. And then does that park behind the Disney Castle? So the Disney Castle goes where the Jurassic Park gates are, if it would fit. I don't think it will because of the ceiling height. Oh, that's going to be really annoying. The only other place it can go is it comes right to the edge of this table. It comes here. And then we put the bits and pieces behind it, because ideally the cantina comes in front of it. But I love those Jurassic Park gates, and I do not want them to be swallowed up. So the Jurassic Park gates could come much further forward here. So we've got all of the Flintstones, this size scale, then it goes into the gates, into its land here. So this bit here could just be the new Jurassic Park sets. And then from here, as like a, again, another L shape, is the Star Wars stuff. And it's just that big thing on that table, all the smaller sets in front of it. Cantina goes where that thing is as an L shape. So it feeds you into the Star Wars section itself. I think that might be the better option. I'm not moving this for fun, by the way, but I think we can all be in agreement that that looks far too big next to those gates, and the gates need to be moved. And I brought the gates further forward. Again, you'd see them on the unboxing videos, and having them closer to the roller coasters, it does make sense because obviously of the type of thing it is. Because the only other option, yes, I know my hair needs cutting badly, I know, is if I had the ceiling height, I could put the gates here. The gates would open up, and you'd have the loop roller coaster behind it. So you've got the red coaster, that thing, loop coaster, gates. What is left of the table is Star Wars over that side, and the other Star Wars sets in front. Oh, you've got so many options. It's just doing it the correct way. But I really do think, because that's got such a presence, that massive, massive gunship, that I don't really think it's going to matter if it's too far back. And I know it'll be in front of the Rivendell. Will it swallow that Rivendell up? I don't think it will. The wings, granted, might overhang that side, but from here, you're still not gonna see it. The only thing you might struggle with is getting a side-on bit, but I can't do that anyway because I've got the hatch, so I'll just break my neck. Anyway. I don't know now. I don't know. But that is the space we've got over on this side. So this is all for future DC stuff. And then again, you've got the Razor Crest. And no matter where we move these ships, by the way, you have got all of these screw holes. So we can just get some fishing wire, and we can dangle, again, the Razor Crest off, the M1 off the ceiling if it needs to be. So it's not too much of a problem. There is a Ghost. And we have got the T6 Jedi Shuttle as well. So there's 2 more ships that need to be added in. And again, they have to be flying around. They can't be on the table because they just take up too much. They just take up too much space. So realistically, the only thing that is going to be on the table is the entrance into the land, which will be these steps, the lovely cantina, Boba Fett, and that for now. So there's only 3 things, which will fit on this table, because if that stays closed and that stays beside it, it will fit on a table. So we could just have it there, have it as an L shape, that comes on the inside, and then we'll probably have 2 half tables left. Saying this out loud, I don't really want to move it. I don't know whether just to commit and do it or not. And then that leaves this as well, doesn't it? This is going to be the big problem. Is that was supposed to come off to be my dumping space. We are running out of places where that can go. Right, I've had a think, which is never good, and I'm going to do a little bit of research now, which means we're going to catch back up after the live. I've got 90 minutes until the live kicks off. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the live in between making a display to measure up this roof height. Now, I know it sounds stupid, however, could we have the loop coaster literally across here? Because if we've got the tall bit, it means we've got one coaster facing in, we've got the T shape of the other loop coaster, that stays where it is, that doesn't have to move. Obviously the Star Wars stuff moves, and then we can still potentially have a run of these in front of it, which in theory means that we've still got, that table will be empty, because that's where the loop coaster was going to go, don't forget. So nothing's going to go on there, which then gives us the option of putting the Jurassic Park gates here, moving the Star Wars stuff over to that side, and it's done for. Now, I know loads and loads and loads of you are going, just put the Disney Castle here. This Disney Castle going here is the last ditch thing, only because I think it's going to hide the diorama. Now, you might be thinking, oh yeah, but you're going to put the loop coaster there. The loop coaster is a tall shaft, and everything else is low. It's not like, I mean, this is much, much, much bigger, and you can still see through it. It's not a problem. The loop coaster is much easier, whereas this is literally a solid slab. So if that thing there was there, you're not going to see everything that we're going to do on this base plate, and that is what becomes the problem. Yes, I could drop down the Daily Bugle and the Avengers Tower onto this table, but then that creates its own issues for different bits and pieces. So I need to figure out, the loop coaster will go here, not a problem whatsoever. We could, like I said, literally tee it off as close back to the wall as we possibly can, because it's not as long as this one, but it is taller. So they are completely different, but having them both close side by side could work nicely. And then the Jurassic Park gates just come up and potentially go, the Jurassic Park stuff just comes here. Because I think that does need to go away. I think it's, now it's, because we didn't have it close to any of the buildings before. But that is now, it's fine against a coaster, because that coaster is a mammoth. Now, the plan of this is that I am supposed to be treating this, instead of the UCS Falcon that we've got at Disney, we're doing the Clone Wars version, in case you guys and girls are wondering. And that UCS Falcon is massive, but the actual ride itself is enormous. So nothing has to be in proportion, because you've got to think of it from a theme park point of view. Because if you see that in real life, that thing is absolutely enormous compared to a shop. Like the cantina is the size of a normal shop, and then that's how that works with regards to scale. So it does work okay. The only other thing we can do, which might look really nice, is bring the Ninjago stuff onto this table. Because with the Ninjago stuff, yes, it's tall either side, but the new one, which I am yet to get, that goes in the middle, is like that one, and you can see through it. So you would see straight through the middle of it, and we've already created a curve, and this is displayed the same as this. So do we just create a downtown? So it's just, you got like a New York battle into a downtown where you've got the shops. Then it comes into all the rides. From there, Jurassic Park, Star Wars, all the Jurassic Park just gets picked up. It just gets put there. Jurassic Park goes in that corner. Harry Potter just moves over. So the Jurassic Park doesn't have to move too far, but I need to commit to moving it somewhere because it's in the way of that. So the easiest thing to do is just to place it onto this table to start with, to move that over. That is me saying it out loud for the last 5 minutes, but I think that is possibly the best way of doing it. Now I'll speak to everybody on the live to see what they think. I think Ninjago could work there. And I know a lot of you like water as well, and it could add in just a different dynamic. because the my unboxing videos and all that kind of stuff will actually be done on a smaller table here. So where I'm stood, there's going to be another table which is lower that will slot underneath that table and then be pulled out. So I can still do my shorts and I can still do all the unboxing as a temporary thing in here. So like the comparison videos and stuff, which means you would have the Ninjago stuff as a backdrop. And then you'd also have the Daily Bugle and the Avengers Tower as a backdrop. But if I did that, I would have to get the Ninjago set first to complete it, rather than getting the loop coaster. So you can see what the issue is, can't you? I think. Let me know in that comment section. I will crack on and I will catch back up with you just before we go live. And if I forget, I'll catch back up with you after the live and see if we've made any progress whatsoever. I know. One more before we go live. Now, I just found the pizza, so that can go there as well. That's ideal. Guess where that was? Right beside the Ninjago. Now, what I was thinking before I go live and make a stupid mess of myself, I'm going to put that there. I'm going to put that in that corner just to get an understanding of just what we think that would look like. I actually think the more I think about it, I think that would look really nice in front of that. Now we've got this big battle going behind it, which we can still link it into some of the Monkey Kid sets, because there is that Monkey Kid Ferris wheel. There are some other little bits and pieces that we can do. I was also thinking, if that loop coaster doesn't fit there, we can just put the Disney Castle on this corner because of the height, and that will then lead into the Star Wars section, which would then free up that table for the loop coaster, because you've got the height. Because this is it's, how can I phrase it, the table sticks in more from the left to the middle than it does from the right to the middle, which looks deceiving, I know. So you will have more ceiling height there. And then that can just get done whenever. So there's no rush for that. But I want to get, shut the laptop then. I want to get that up and over. This is my favourite theme here, really. It's a special thing to me, and it's just, it is what it is. So that's what I just got fantastic memories of these sets. I want to be very, very careful when I do what I'm about to do, because you've got all these things like all these aerials. Look, they just adds on so much height. So we'll place them to the side and we'll put them straight in after. Now, obviously, what I've got to be very careful of is if I start to do this, we still have to make the Marvel display. So I can't move all of it. Or I might be able to move all of it, I don't know. But at least we know it'll fit on the table. Right. You see me picked it up? I'm not going to mess around to see you put it down. There we go. Oh, this thing is beautiful. Such a good, gorgeous set this is. Every time you move it, you see it from a different angle. So like, you've got all of this detail on the inside just here. You've got the shop on the inside. There's so much detail within this set. It is gorgeous. And that will just sit on that corner, like so. Or it sits on the other corner, and then you've got all of this detail where you've got the comic books, and you've got everything so that it could then just sit on the other side. And that's what you look at instead. And you've got all of this really, really nice water. Nice thing about obviously this side is you've got the nice bridge, so you can see straight through. And then going this way, what it allows you to do, it allows you to link it to the docks. Now the docks would just be behind it. Let's take a step back. Oh, yes. Yeah, that is the way. That is looking now like a full-blown city. It wasn't intended to. Like I said, this is a theme park. It is a theme park, but if you had it on a map, this is what you would expect. You would expect to go from one section to another. It all scales nicely, then it flows down. I just hope the colours are doing it justice on camera. But if you want to go all the way back to the beginning, or I can just save you time, I am getting ready for a live, which we are going to be doing stuff with the Ghostbuster Firehouse, which is that unit just there. And now I've got all of this in the way, so I can't reach that area. So this will have to go back. But I do want to move this now. I want to do it. I just want to get it in, get it done, and it would look stunning because this middle piece would be free. So I can still, I think I'll still be able to reach the table, but I do need to climb up, which I could climb up on here. And then I could climb round it because this now is nothing. There's nothing here. I can't climb round behind in front of the Daily Bugle and behind the Avengers Tower. I'm not that agile, but to get to the Ghostbuster Firehouse, I might just have to climb up onto this bit. So I think we are looking to move quite a bit in the live. Now, if we do, like I said, I'll show you everything. And if the live is good enough quality, I'll link the live to the end of this video, rather than having to download it like I did last time, because it just completely failed last time I added it into the Last Disaster series. But this is what I mean. You've got this thing here, it all connects in, all the steps are perfect. You've got the nice boat, that boat, it could just all be water on the middle if we wanted to, and then we could have Ninjago. Then we could have some of the smaller Monkey Kid sets. God, it opens up so many possibilities now. And I can see this actually properly. And I can see everything else, because normally this is the biggest thing and it's a right pain. But I can still do bits and pieces. I can still do what it is I need to do on here. And like I said, I can just get that smaller table and we can get it down and get it done. This is possibly going to be the longest disaster one. Because I do want to carry on. Because I can't do all of it on the live, but I want to get it done today. So it allows me then to, for the next couple of weeks, to focus on each section. But can I? The only thing I can do is move the Ninjago. Well, I am calling it now. That Ninjago is 100% going there. That is gorgeous there. And I think it works really. That coaster now looks like it's just tucked in. It just looks like it's a theme park to me with regards to the different bits and pieces. Big roller coaster in there. So do we have both roller coasters together or do we split it up? Disney is definitely going there. That is definitely going over on that side. Just need to get these moved. Now, if I can just throw gently 1 unit, 2 unit to the Joker Manor, push the Joker Manor, tee the Joker Manor off in front of the shadow box to give me as much space as possible. Put those units up at the top for now, which then means I can still do the live tonight and put the Marvel stuff there. That means then I can start doing some Marvel bits and pieces. I can just move the Jurassic Park stuff over, and then that will give us a free table to start the Star Wars stuff on the live tonight. So that'll give us a starting point, and then we can go from there. That means we can either do the Star Wars stuff or we can do the Marvel displays. I want to get the Marvel display in first, for obvious reasons. We're going to start on that Ghostbuster Firehouse. And I already know we're running out of time. Right, let's just see what we can do. Well, that was a proper game of two halves, as they would say. The first half of that live absolutely flew by. Got loads and loads done. What did I say I was going to do at the start of the live? I was going to measure the loop roller coaster. What didn't I do at the start of the live? Measure the height of the loop roller coaster. 3 foot. It's big. It'll look phenomenal, but it's big. And the problem is, well, look, we put everything in a fantastic place. The thing that has just been put there is this, which I've left teetering. See? Look at that wobble. And I've also left that on the top. So this is what I'm now going to have to tidy up with you guys and girls. I was hoping that what we'd be able to do is wrap the Ninjago around the loop roller coaster. That was my final ditch effort with regards to will that work, and it's too long. The depth is fine, so back that way's fine. Left to right is really, really long. It's not as long as the coaster. That coaster is nearly the full table length. It's not quite as long as that. So hit a massive speed bump with regards to getting the tape measure out and trying to figure out what bits and pieces had happened. But loads happened in the live. So we'll go literally around all the tables, show you where the bits and pieces are. Then we'll get these off. I'll put the boat where it needs to go. I want to put the Joker Manor back. Now, what I didn't show off on the live on purpose, because you can't see it, is the Joker Manor. You can do this. Whoop. Look at that. So what this allows us to do is you've got 3 big sets at the front. We can still make up displays at the back. So yes, all right, you can't see them all the time. And for me to see them, I'm gonna have to, well, I'm quite far away. So it's gonna be a bit of a nightmare, but I think all we'll have is some space for the cars, which is what we are gonna do. But then at the same time, we can make a little Easter egg display. So whatever we can see through that hole, we can make a display. And it does look like it's a track. So that is one very good positive. The other good positive is that I think that looks fantastic. The Ninjago stuff works really well. It looks like it's a downtown version of that city. We're wrapping that round a roller coaster, which is what I wanted to do. Because like I said, I wanted to bring all the smaller stuff in. And we've just moved that over for basically a little bit of colour. Because we just thought that would actually fit in there rather than the loop roller coaster, because we thought, well, potentially the loop roller coaster would fit here. It will, but if anybody has the loop roller coaster, can you measure the highest point girth? So I mean, how wide is it tall? Because if it's not very wide, it will fit by the skin of its teeth on this side of the table. And we can figure out what we're going to do with that, and we can just wrap it around. If not, we're stuffed, basically, because I don't think it's going to fit on there whatsoever. But enough of the negative. Let's go on and show off all the amazing stuff that we have managed. So this did do what I said it was going to do. It went right to the back. Right to the back, which is perfect. And yes, the wing did, well, to be honest, it's actually not as bad as I thought, because you can still see it from underneath, and you can see it absolutely perfectly from there. Look, so there's absolutely no, I'm not even straining to see that. I can see that clear as day, and then it just carries on and goes down. So none of that's changed. That's all exactly the same, and obviously we added in those little bits and pieces. None of that got touched. That is going to be a completely separate upload. This is already long enough as it is. But if you have noticed, we have got quite a bit of space, because I have managed to put out, again, this is all rough, but the cantina is in length. So we have full length of the cantina. I could potentially just bring that to the edge of the table, and then we've got a gap in that corner. We could put the Boba Fett throne room beside it, or we could put one of these smaller buildings beside it. So we have got options just there. And yes, before you wonder, without me breaking my neck, I'm balancing my head on the ceiling because I'm stood over a hole. That is how it's been, so that's why my hair is all squashed and horrible. Then you have that there, so that is that. Now from there, the next thing obviously was to move, I can't even get off this, oh my days, was to move the Jurassic Park. And the Jurassic Park stuff just got launched, I'm afraid. That just got thrown. The plan was to put it in a little bit neater. That's where we hit the snag. So that just got thrown over here. So we will end up spinning the gates round and doing something nice with that. Now, straight away, it might make sense putting the gates there. And yes, I had another nightmare. Didn't I just knock that light after the live finished? And the only can of Coke that I had up here, and it knocked that over onto a battery, which is not fantastic, and all over this, which is, oh, it's the sticker sheet for the Avengers Tower, I think. So there's 1 or 2 stickers that might not be, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. The A-frame is going in with the Jurassic Park display. So we have options as an L shape for this Jurassic Park display, and the gate right at the front goes at the front and it works its way back. I think that's possibly the best way. And then in between the 2 bits, potentially we had a ride. Now it's annoying because that loop coaster would have worked nicely on that table, as a divider between the Harry Potter and the Jurassic Park because of the amazing roller coaster that is with the Jurassic Park. And I've always said the loop coaster would look really nice close to that. But I don't think we've got 2 foot. Now until this is all moved, I don't want to get my hopes up, until this is all moved, I don't know how far I can bring this table forward because of how the loft closes. It actually hits the table, so all of this actually should be walkway, but I've actually just thrown all that stuff on there which I need to move before I go down. So that is going to be under construction for a completely different upload, which is a real shame because I was hoping to get that done in this one, but obviously our focus point now is to get this done. So we're moving on to, that's the light again. Oh, missed, caught that. Probably shouldn't have that there, to be honest, because the legs are really big on it. Anyway, on with life. This will get sorted, get built, it'll be fully erected, and then we will have the Star Wars basically coming out as far as it needs to do, and it can start directly in front of it if it wants to, or we just bring it in line here, and that is Star Wars, which is a table and a half plus the Disney castle with it, which was the point, and I think it looks nice. And again, from here, that does not look like, well, it looks much better there, doesn't it? It looks much better. And we can get the block of cheese still if we want to, or we can do other little bits and pieces. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky and a little bit annoying at the same time, is I put all of these pieces, as you know, against the side, and I threw them all out the way to see if we could get this as a long line. So it had to be tested, it had to be done, and it didn't work. So it basically overhung too much. Now what we have got the ability with is, obviously we need to make sure we've got base plate and a half here, but we have got a base plate and a half back, so if they release another one, we'll be good. So we've got a year and a bit of games for that, so that's what we can figure out. But what I need to do now is, I'm trying to think before we start to wrap this one up. Not even going over there, none of that got touched. Obviously the plan was to do the display with everybody, and instead we were all wondering where we can put the loop coaster. It won't be deleted, that will be in the lives. That will be probably one live back if I don't go live this Thursday, which would be last Thursday for you, talking about all the new sets that will be out for March. So I will be going live because there'll be brand new releases with a brand new giveaway and all the other bits and pieces, so I will be definitely doing that. I need to get this down now with you to then move the base plates away to then put this back up, because it's on some stuff and I don't like what it's on. I don't want this to fall off. I like this set too much, so I do not want to damage this. I don't like moving it because, oh, I really like it, and it's annoying. See, at least it's only just that one piece that does that. The annoying thing is that this does look, it kind of works and it kind of doesn't with this, with regards to it being lower. It just, you just know when that other modular big unit comes in, it's just going to get swallowed, because you're going to be looking through it, and I just think the boat would be better. So the boat can go there for now, because it's all water. We can do a nice water display there. It's a shame. Now the thing with what we were going to do with this is we were going to put all the display up on there, and now we're not, which is fine. But it does mean I need to move all those minifigures and the cars out of the way to make sure that is on securely. And then I think the display will probably be, what, maybe there? So potentially we're going to be having a Punisher display in Ace Brinkman. Right, that is in safer, and the boat is also there. Now, again, if you were to go underneath the sail, like so, you can still see through the actual Joker hole. So that looks okay. Now, the one thing I do need to think of is placement for this. I can either bring it further over to the left, So we can still have a little bit of a diorama to that side. If I brought this all the way over, obviously it looks off, whereas at the moment it kind of looks like it's in between. But if I was to bring this over closer, I could then actually bring that over more, keep the Ghostbuster Firehouse where it is, and then would actually have probably a 32 stud or base plate and a half depth behind it. So there is that option, because obviously the Ghostbuster Firehouse is a base plate and a half. That got moved over, that got moved over. I could fit another base plate and a half in, because obviously you've got the road plate that goes to nowhere. That now doesn't need to necessarily be like that, but you still have got the opportunity for an overhead shot to add in all those different bits and pieces down there. And then obviously we can add in a load of Easter eggs across the top as well. So there is that option. And then coming down, this is actually coming into the Ninjago area. So this is base plate and a half's worth of space. So you've got base plate and a half plus the memorial. So you've got the golden Lloyd, so he is there. So we have enough space for all of that, so we can fit that in, no problem. Those minifigures weren't there, it was obviously there just the base plates. Get that down, base plate and a half, not a problem, and that can obviously move over ever so slightly, so that is exactly on the table. So I think it's clean enough. I just don't know if I need to take that sail off. So I took the middle sail down so you could see all of the pink and all the colour, whereas if it's like that you can't. And it's one of those where it's just always going to be, I think, at the wrong angle with regards to the length of it. Now it's too long to go that way. Not at the moment, obviously I can put it lengthways now because it'll fit there, but when the other modular comes in it won't work. But potentially for now, just to see the actual Joker Manor and see the front of this, rest that on my leg, this can go like that and it tucks in and it goes back. You can see exactly what the issue is with that, because you definitely don't have a base plate for space for that one. So yeah, it's gonna be fun and games. I mean, obviously the other thing is the new one goes there because it is that length, and then we have this bit open so we can actually see in and maybe have something smaller in between. So we've got the two bigger sets on the outside, that way I can reach and I can do those little bits and pieces. That wouldn't be a bad option, to be honest. It might be a bit silly having a brand new set, seeing it side on. I don't know. Let's just cross that. I think maybe we just cross that bridge when it comes, and we can figure that out. But what do we think of this? And I've got a bad feeling moving this around. I've dropped the two pink flags off. I think there's two pink flags at the top. This is 100% complete. Now what I do like again from here, because I see all the detail on this all the time, every single window colour is obviously completely different. So you've got blue, purple, yellow, green, pink going all the way across the bottom, and it's the same thing on the front. So you can see that, look, you've got green, blue, you can see all the tint. So that all four colours there look brilliant. And again, you just look through, see what's going on there, and then I can see what's going on behind there. So we can still make up some dioramas if we want to, or we don't bother and we do the dioramas over on this side, because we've now have nothing here. Once we've got Hoopty in, that in, all the other bits and pieces are up and flying around and doing all that kind of nonsense, there is potential for that. Now the other thing that I need to do, because I definitely am going to forget to do that, is move this, because if I forget to move this and this smashes, it will be tearful. But I think we have got the option to raise this up. Now we didn't really clarify on the live, we said it looked nice, because it looked like the Hulk version. That's why maybe the loop coaster does try and go on that table. And then we have the T-Rex. Ah, do we have the T-Rex around the loop? What we superhero this, that's a weird thing to say, superhero this coaster up. And loop the coaster for the dino, if it will fit. rather than having all the, because I said a wall of coasters, so it was my idea, was I thought it would look very, very nice. That was before doing the downtown Ninjago, which, with that central gap, it looks huge. So I think if I, again, if I just move that out of the way, so a white table, that's a base plate in a bit, it's the same, yeah, because this will just overhang, so that'll be fine. So what the white table is, water or something, whatever, it doesn't matter. It can zigzag, we can put a path in there. We can just have two completely separate units. Guaranteed, you watch. Guaranteed, I'm doing all of this and they're going to release out of nowhere another massive one of these. And the other one only came out last year. They never ever do that. They're only every couple of years, or they're in pairs, aren't they? So at least we've got the city with the dock. That makes sense. And then we can have the garden, the market. And in case you didn't realise, these obviously can be spun. They can be spun in on themselves. And we have the water on the outside. And if you have no idea what I'm going on about, like, what are you going on about? As it stands right now, the amazing thing about these units is the front, the back, the dock all connects. So if you've got all of this and half of this that's a different unit here, but they all connect, so it all looks exactly the same thing. You can see that over the bridge and it is fantastic, but the front is also connecting, see? So it all connects. But I am almost 100% sure if I was to spin, even if I just did that, so I just did that, that is now facing in on itself, which looks brilliant, by the way, where you've got all of these on there. You can still see the water. Okay, fine, the water itself does go a different way. The water doesn't work perfectly. You have a narrower sort of bit rather than a huge girthy bit. But I am sure if I was to spin the other one round, yes, I know you're going to say about the boat and it won't work, but say about the other one, you then see the front of the building. So you've got the front of the buildings on show then, because I can see it, as will you be able to see it, depending on which way they go. So I can just have that like that, put that one back like that, and then we have got the option. So what I will do is I'm going to have to do this as a separate upload for a Ninjago thing. So I do the Ninjago and the Jurassic Park in the same upload, but this will go live before I get around to doing it. Do you prefer it facing in or facing out? That's the easiest thing to look at, because obviously, depending, the boat could just be in the middle. That's not a problem. And if that was the case, and I did this, and then this spun round, instead of not actually being able to see much at all, you can then see absolutely everything. See? So doing that, hasn't that now just created a city? Wow. Okay, well, I think I've answered my own question with that. God, I can't get over the difference just turning it in on itself, because you can connect all four of them to the back, so you get that nice, you get that nice sort of feel. And the lovely thing about this side where all the water is, you can see what I mean about how it zigzags through. So you just got a smaller dock, and then you've got the actual dock, and then what you do yourself is you build on. So where this is, for example, you can have your water, and if there was enough space I could have put the fishing thing there. You can see how it goes. But having those two there with the Joker Manor behind it, like that, and we could have this, even if it was angled, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because it's not taking up, it's not hiding anything. I think that is very, very, very pretty. Yeah, I think we will still do the Ninjago bits, because I still want your feedback, because we could potentially have other options. I don't know what other options there'll be. I don't know if we can go, we can't really go across the front of the table, that won't work. The two highest bits are at the front, and then it dips down, and we've got the height again, which works well. That's what I wanted, because you've got all these different shapes. You can see the coaster through there. You can get nice photos. You can make it all look fancy. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. And again, with here, I've got to get this fixed. I've got to ring up Lego and say about the bags, because I can't finish this bit off. I'm going to have to order the pieces individually. You can still see the eye. I just need to complete that. But these are all, apart from that, all completely, fully complete. This obviously then just allows you to do that. So you can bring it in that way, easily get another one in there, and still have the gap. With that overhang, that little overhang just there, it'll be flush to the back, and that'll be where the new one will go, and I'm sure the new one would fit that way. Now, I have heard rumours that it doesn't connect. I've knocked something off there. I picked that piece up. I put it somewhere, keep it all together. There it is. I thought I recognised that. Quite an important bit, that. So that bit goes, I'll leave that there so I can actually put that on, because I do not want to be losing those pieces. Yeah, I have heard rumours that they don't all connect, whereas this one does absolutely perfectly with regards to, it doesn't make a difference what way, because the dock could go that way now rather than going that way, so this doesn't have to move. So this basically can be displayed 4 ways. It's a proper corner unit, and you can have it facing inwards, display 1, display 2, turn it around, display 3, display 4. It makes sense, doesn't it? With this one, I don't think it does. I don't think this links as smoothly to the market, or it links to the market, but the market doesn't link to the city. Very confusing. Very, very confusing, but I do like the look of that. Now, I hope that is coming through on the camera. I think that does look nice. I think that looks quite smart. Now, I need to carry on tidying up 1 or 2 bits and pieces, and then we really do need to end this upload. So the more I look at that, the more I think it works. I think that looks really, really nice. It is a hybrid of a theme park in a city, which is exactly what it's supposed to be. It looks like it's theming. It's like it would be when you go around any of the major theme parks. Now, we just need to continue this sort of density slash busyness, colourfulness. I don't know, it's almost like layers, because where I'm stood, it's all different heights. It all makes sense. And the nice thing is now, because we did move that on the live as well, that's something I did forget to point out, that has moved, so has that. What I will need to do is definitely get Iron Man falling down that building now, because we're not going to have all of them on display as easy, but we can still have a couple of battles on the roof. So instead of having a bit of a battle on the floor, what we'll be able to do is just have all the minifigures on top of the Ghostbuster roof fighting away, and then maybe we can have some of the ghosts across the bottom. Now, what I will do on a different upload is have a fiddle with regards to which way it goes, because that car parked to the side there, we're going to have a Ghostbusters display down at the bottom, aren't we? So we've got to figure out what we're going to do with that. But we have got the opportunity to make it the car width again. So you can have 32 studs on display plus the car if you want to. So that's something to remember and consider, especially when it comes to real estate space for display now, because we had the space for 3 base plates. And to be honest, that would have taken ages to do anyway. So I think when we start to wrap it round, I guess what we could do is have more, because there's a lot of DC villains that you can get. If I got a Arkham Asylum, we just recreate a breakout scene. And so instead of having a massive Marvel display, we do something completely different, but still have the Marvel on top of the Ghostbuster. So on top, we can have a scene on the Avengers Tower. So that's basically what a base plate would have been. A scene on top of there, which will work. And then we've got a scene that will have wrapping around that L shape anyway, which don't forget, this is all going to be tiled. So we've got 3 scenes that we can still create, so that works well. But we have now got the opportunity to do another one, so that will work really, really nicely. I don't know whether to measure that bit now, because I don't particularly want to finish on a negative, but 3 foot is our number. What do we think? I will plonk you just there. and we'll hope for the best. And then I will run you over the bits and pieces that we can do next time. Yeah, taking a step back and having a look at that, I think that looks really, really smart. So that was that. That is at the top of the table. That is 3 foot. And we're not touching the roof. But I don't know how far back we can go. I don't know. Oh, it's going to be so tight. Which means it will fit where the Harry Potter bit is. Because the table sticks out more. So it will fit at the back. So we could... No, it won't fit because I've just measured it from the edge of that table. So I'm talking absolute nonsense. It's exactly... No, I didn't, did I? That light is really, really starting to bug me. Right, so if I went from here... That's 3 foot there. And we've got wiggle room. So that's 1m10. 1m20 and we're touching from here. So how far is... So 3 foot is to the edge, 3 foot to the edge of this table is the... That's exactly what we need to be looking at, isn't it? So from here to here, literally here, is 3 foot. So we can have it there, or we can have it there. It just can't go there. But it's on the left side. So if it will have to go here, and it's facing inwards, because that I say loop. So I would look at the loop there, wouldn't see it, and then it's the back of the roller coaster there, and then we have the gates somewhere else. You can see where this is going to be going for the next level, can't you? This is going to be tricky. So you can only go... This is what the whole live was. So if you want to watch the live and me headbutting a table and crying, give it a go. And I don't mind whatsoever. Obviously feedback below with regards to what you guys and girls think. We do want some Easter egg displays. So what Easter egg displays would you like to see added? Now don't forget, we have also got the Assembly Square roof, which we did have an Easter egg display on and we took off. So we have got up there, and you can see there's a little Easter egg display here, but you've got the bat symbol with some of the Batman characters and somebody missing a head with an axe. So we've got that. Over on there, we've got Team Emmett, all the different Emmets. So that's our Chris Pratt shrine. And there is more to add to that, which is terrifying. And then we need to make a display up for the street going across the bottom, which would be lovely. So we said display for Ghostbusters top of the roof. That is Avengers. One for the tower. To be fair, we might just wrap all the figures round the tower and then just have that as its own display. That'll be a live video, I think. I think what I can do is I can just get to it on a live and we can just do that together. Daily Bugle across the bottom in front of the Doctor Strange, that will be a display. So that's 3 displays, 4 displays top of the Assembly Square, and then whatever happening over on this side is what that is. So I would imagine the next thing to happen in here is to get this E shape looking as clean as that and as clean as that, which then leaves us 2 pockets, which is the DC side and these 2 tables in the Star Wars. Fantastic. I do like that. I like a happy ending. It's going to be a headache to try and do though, because I think the next episode it's going to be tearful because it can physically only go in that one bit. I think I'm liking that though. So, poll will be happening. What happens next? Do I get the Loop Coaster next? Or do I get the Ninjago set next? But with that being said, I think we are done for this evening because I could keep going and going and going, but It's just going to be one very, very long upload for you. And it just, I mean, it gives us a good starting point because we have got this E that we can do. And we've got that bit over there. It's going to be a fruity one. It's going to be a fruity one, this next one. And this whole section with, there's loads still to do. Loads still to do, but I think we've done quite a bit. I know this video is already long enough because don't forget I've done the live on top of this as well for an hour and a bit as well. And it's all been good fun. So what I've done is I've made a mess over here and it was tidy and I've just thrown it over to here. So that will have to be tidied at some point as well. But guys, if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Again, feedback with regards to what you like, what you don't like, what you would change, what you would add. But more importantly, the dioramas would be really, really helpful with regards to what minifigures you would like. Even if you don't know, but there's a film that you like, just let me know. And if I've got the minifigures, I can do it on the roof. I can do this, I can do that. And then that way I can get it ready for the live. And I can do it as we have a chit chat, because otherwise we wait for a load of people to turn up, and then by that point it's already finished because it's always staggered, it's always delayed, isn't it? So it is what it is, and I know a lot of people watch it back on the replay, so it's always nice to get your ideas before, and then I can put them in on the live. But guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. If you lot, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-da.